So
Happy Sunday, remnants out there. How are each and every one of you? Thank you again for joining us on Speaking Our Truth, where we come here, we talk our experiences, we talk about, real life things that happen, and we just come and share with you, hoping that it will help transform your lives as it did ours. And we're back again. We're back again. And today it is all about the art of waiting. So I was thinking to myself one day, hmm, right? I was just thinking because I know, like, so many of you out there, you are in expectation of something. You are waiting on something that when it comes, it will change your life. That type of waiting. And I'm like, I was thinking how long I've been waiting, for this certain thing. It's actually a few things. And so I'm thinking I started to get a little, anxious, and so many things was going through my mind until I had to tell myself, okay, Nora, calm down, calm down. You've waited this long. There's no need in, going crazy or allowing myself to give up now. And so that's when I thought, wow, I wonder how many other people out there are waiting, and the way they're waiting came to my mind. And that's why I brought these lovely ladies here on with me to actually talk about waiting, and how to wait. Because I want y'all to have peace. I really do want everyone not only to get what you are waiting for, right? But I want you to go through it with some sort of a peace. And so that's why we're here. Ladies, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate each and every one of you for, answering the invitation. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Nora.
Thank you. And so it's about waiting, ladies. It's all about waiting. I know waiting is something that we all have to do anyway, right? Anyway, nothing, we're not born with everything that we need, and it's not supplied to us right then and there. As we grow, we need to go through things, so forth and so on. But ladies, I want you to talk to me. Is any of you waiting on something? And if you are, what what is it like for you while waiting? Let's talk about how you feel honestly while you're waiting for what you're expecting. Anyone can jump in.
Um, Nora, what I would say is, first of all, I think every human being, like you said, goes through the waiting game, and it could be different for each and every one of us, but we all have to wait because there is no way in life that everything will always be handed to us. And we're just like, yes, I want this right now. And it's just like somehow you wake up tomorrow and you have it
Mm-hmm.
because it's never meant to be that way, you know?
Mm.
It's like sometimes, are you even prepared for what you're asking for? That's what. So the thing is that you asked me to come on, and I was like, man, this is something that I have dealt with for so long because the moment I acknowledged my dreams and aspirations and the things that I want to achieve in life, I thought I was supposed to wake up like the next month, put in a little bit of work, and the next month, all of this stuff was supposed to just happen. And it was like, no, you have to put skin in the game, like they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
What
it's
does
just
that
about,
feel like? What does that feel
oh,
like, though?
it's a lot of anxiety. You deal with some anxiety. But the thing is, as you're going through it and these things are not happening to you, you're learning lessons. Like
Mm-hmm.
I keep having these aha moments. So it's like still teachable lessons every single time I keep wanting it so bad and I don't get it. Then I go, oh my God, I get it. I'm supposed to wait patiently because that feeling of lack only is
Man.
creating more lack. And and when you mentioned this to me about the waiting, I remember thinking that how they always say chase after your dreams, and it's
Yeah.
like that saying is a little bit deceiving because anything you're chasing after, that means it's running away from you. So it's like right? So it's like patiently walk into what is yours already. And that's what I'm learning to do. And that's the only way I can find peace in the season of waiting. And it's still a process. I still have to keep having those aha moments to bring me back on track.
It's still a process. At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. I don't know. Before I start running my mouth, Michelle, Marcia, did you want to chime in on that?
Sure. Like you said it before, you know, everybody basically is waiting, right? We're waiting. For me, what I'm trying to zone in this season of waiting is what do I do in the meantime,
exactly.
Right? So that's where I'm focusing in the meantime, because I have trust in the Lord that what I'm waiting for, the Lord in His time is going to do His thing. And okay, I'm okay with that. But in the meantime, what do I do? So what I try to do is to not grow stagnant, not stay stuck, but keep it moving. And not in a way where in the waiting and in my movement, I am not manipulating the situation, but trusting the Lord each step of the way. And yeah, there's moments of anxiety. There is, because it's like, oh my goodness, here we are. And how long am I going to do this? But if I just take it one step at a time and concentrate on what I'm doing now, like the meantime, I think is working out for me good, because I'm still in the game. My faith is still strong, and I am not even that I'm surviving. It's not about survival. I'm living life, knowing that I'm waiting and trusting the process.
There's a big difference with the surviving and the actually living or thriving, you know, in every situation. I was talking to someone one day, and like, because it dawned on me one day, especially when it comes to, you know, who I believe in and how we are governed as believers, you know, one of the things that I realize is that, hey, you know, we are required in any situation that we are in, right? We are required to produce what we call fruit, no matter what. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, first I'm like, how cruel is that? I'm going through something, but yet you're expecting good to come out of my situation. And what you mentioned about that process, and Josiane talked about as well, you know, how we are supposed to be shaped in all of this. And I think that's the part that people don't understand. I think our mind goes from what we want immediately to getting what it is. It's like we go from point A immediately. We're at the finish line, not realizing that there's a process, What is in a process? You talked about manipulating. Michelle. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So sometimes what I'm referring is that while we're waiting, sometimes we grow impatient and we think we have a good idea to accelerate the process. So in that, I find that there's a lot of manipulation, because you're imposing your will, your thoughts, your plan, and not trusting God for Him to reveal what the next step is, just because you don't want to wait, right? So I feel that many times that's what retards the process, because you keep putting your foot where it doesn't belong. You keep, you bringing your plan forth, and what you're doing is delaying the process. And I've seen it a lot and I've done it. I'm guilty of it in the past, and I'm very careful not to do it in the present, where I am becoming so anxious, and then I'm saying, oh, so wait a minute, maybe if I do this and that, I'm going to get to the answer faster. But it's not like that. It doesn't normally work. And also, because things worked in the past, the way that you went about it, that doesn't necessarily apply to your current situation. There's a reason why you're in the season of waiting. And it's not necessarily a punishment. Because sometimes you might even question, am I being asked to wait because I'm being punished? Am I being cheated out of something? And no, sometimes the waiting is to develop you. The waiting season is so that it's just like a 9-month pregnancy. There's stages in that pregnancy, right? There's the trimesters, and then there's the laboring process, and there's even stages through that. So I feel like in the waiting, right, in that pregnancy, you have to allow the development in the pregnancy, the baby, but it's the development of whatever it is that you're waiting for, that you're trusting for. Yeah. And imagine a pregnant woman trying to manipulate this situation and in 5 months give birth to that baby.
Pull it out.
Exactly.
Right. And we've seen when there have been pregnancies who have been born, children who have been born prematurely, that they're going to need extra care in the end, right? And so there's some risks that accompany that. So there's a reason why there's a set time for everything.
Right.
I want to chime in there real quick, right? So I want to speak to the planners, the well-organized individuals, the people who can't function without having their calendar set and a particular order in which they want things to go. That used to be me. I normally have to have everything organized, the time in which it's going to take me to complete it. And if I don't meet that, I fall into worry. If it's coming close to the date, there's anxiety, there's stress, but you know what? Thank God for the Lord, because he has taught me that my plans are not his plans. And so for this time that I've been in, he has taught me that even right up, if I'm trusting him, if I'm letting go, which is what we need to do, you have something in mind, but is this what is meant for you? That's what's important. Not because you see someone else have it, or you've heard about it and this is what you've decided to do. Is this meant for you? Whatever it is that you're waiting on, is it meant for you? That's what's important to ask yourself. What is the reason I think that I need this, right? And so when you have determined that, okay, you feel that this is for me, you've had your consultation with the Lord and everything, it is a process, as you guys have said, but not everyone has reached a patient stage. So I just want to speak to the ones who have not reached that place where they're able to be quiet, they're able to sit still, and they're able to wait, because they're doers. And it's hard for someone who is always at it, always going, to now become still and trust this process that they're hearing about, especially if they're not believers too. They're go-getters. This is how I get what I need. This is how it has always been, but yet still it's like me going over and over and over and not getting any results. Then it's time for you to stop.
Yes.
Time for you to take a break. It's time for you to do nothing.
And
what's going on.
There you go.
You were saying.
I'm glad you mentioned, it's like you came right on time with the word reevaluate, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, but I'm the opposite. At least I'm not the opposite. No, because one of the things I've learned is that while you wait, I think Danielle Thomas mentioned it in the comment. She mentioned that waiting is not always equivalent to the absence of movement. And so it just so happens that I don't know what happened to me this morning, y'all, but I woke up and in my mind I said, I have to plan. I said, I'm tired. I'm waiting for certain things, right? But then I also realized that while I'm waiting, that there are things that I need to do to prepare myself for what's coming. So I don't know what I just said to myself, oh my God, all this while I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, I'm waiting on God. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to wait. God is going to come through. Whereas, again, there is preparation. So I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I need to plan. But this is actually something that I haven't done really in the past. Whereas you, Marcia, was talking about how people who are used to like go getting, you need to evaluate how you're going to wait. And that's what we're talking about. How are we going to wait? Because it's not enough. It's not enough unless I'm wrong, ladies. Is it enough? Let me ask you. Is it enough just to say, and maybe Marcia, you can elaborate on this part. Is it enough just to say, you wake up one day and say, you know what? I want to fix my marriage. I want my marriage to work. Is it enough just to sit there and say that? Or like, is there some things that I need to do? Or I don't know. Ladies, what do you think about? Is this something that is it just enough to say,
no,
no. Why not?
You know why? Because the thing, the saying is, ask and you shall receive, right? But you also have to like make that movement in faith too. So I would say in the waiting season for whatever you're waiting, right? Operate like you already have this thing. You understand what I'm saying? So that means like Michelle says is, don't stay stagnant. You can't staying stagnant doesn't change any situation. You're no longer now fighting for the end result. You're living who you're supposed to be. So if you're saying marriage, right? It could be, because it can be so many different things. You have to be operating like someone who's fixing their marriage. You understand what I'm saying? To just say that my marriage is going to be fixed. It doesn't work that way. Or just saying that I'm going to have a multi-million-dollar business or a prosperous business. You have to still take those daily steps. I have to start operating like I'm a business owner and I run a multi-million-dollar business. But it's that just taking those little steps every single day towards that bigger vision. Because sometimes what I'm realizing is we can't get so focused on that end result, because it can happen. And does that truly still mean happiness? Because we're all really in the pursuit of happiness. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It's that pursuit of deep happiness, peace, and joy. So whatever name you put on it, you have to work towards it every single day. But then from a space of ease, acting like you already have it. That's what I would say. So you have to do your part. Yes.
So that piece, the piece is important. I don't know. Did you want to say something, Marcia?
Well, yes. I know you were speaking specifically to marriage. You mentioned marriage, but there's so many different scenarios. Right? And we do have, the Bible says faith without works is dead, but it also says we walk by faith and not by sight, right? So there is a time for certain things. There's a time for movement and there's a time for stillness. We got fingers and we got hands for a reason to do, right? To act, to make a move. Yes, there will be occasions that you need not make a move, but you need to instead sit, receive what is being said to you in order for you to make that right move. Because if you move too quickly, you might be walking in your own emotions, because emotions can throw us out of whack a lot, because we're moving out of emotions, and emotions, sometimes we act so quickly, it's not the right one. So sometimes we need to just take a step back, and then there's sometimes when we need to take a step forward. How are we going to know when it's the right time to do what? Is what brings confusion to us very often. There were times in my life that I was like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I should sit still. I don't know whether I should do this. I don't know whether I should do that. If I'm being honest, I wasn't sure. But the moment that I decided to just surrender, I'm speaking about surrendering, but I also want to address the persons who are listening, who are not believers, who don't understand what it means to have a relationship with the Lord. But because I've had a relationship with the Lord and I'm having one, I was able to know now, because I now have that communication to know when to move from when to sit still. And it's an ongoing process, as Josiane and Michelle and yourself said earlier. It never stops. It never changes. It's a matter of communication, right? And even going back to marriage that you are being specific to, do you do anything or do you not do anything? But it comes down to communication again between the husband and wife as to what does the husband need, what does the wife need, and that determines whether or not they make a move together or they make moves individually in order to have a happy marriage. So every situation is different, and you need to be able to know when is the time. And how do you know the time? For me, I can speak to my relationship with the Lord is what is gearing me and directing my path. When I was not serving the Lord, when I was not communicating with the Lord and having that relationship, I can say it was extremely difficult for me. There was a lot of confusion. I was listening to friends, I was listening to family, I was taking, and then at the end of the day, sometimes they turn around and hit me with things that I've shared, and then that caused pain and hurt and all different kind of things. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the ones who have yet decided to have a relationship with God.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Going back to the example that you put in marriage and waiting for marriage.
That was just an example.
Well, you said working on your marriage, right? Not waiting for marriage. Was it waiting?
No,
for
it was work. I said working on.
Yeah,
working
I'm also going to use another example besides marriage. So, let's use marriage part first, right? Is you could still have an end goal. You could have an goal, and sometimes there's situations where you can get stuck because it's not in your ability to do more. But that doesn't mean that you cannot redirect your attention and your energy. Like, for example, another example, let's say you want to further your career, but it's just not feasible because you don't have the money and the time to take the next steps in your career. But where you're at, how else could you better yourself? Let's say I want to complete my PhD and I don't have the money and the time right now. So what could I do in the meantime? In the meantime, I could take advantage of the free courses. In the meantime, I could take advantage of mentorship. In the meantime, I could reevaluate what I already have and what I can better, or, just shift, pivot. So, there's different things that you can do while waiting, still having the same outcome in mind. But you can shift, in that waiting period, you can say to yourself, you know what? Okay, I'm not there yet, but in the meantime here, this is what I can do. So before you move forward, you can move sideways. And still, that comes back again to not staying stagnant. And that comes back again to waiting and being still, that you're not manipulating, right? I'm not going to go enter a college class and sit there knowing I didn't pay the tuition because I'm going to get kicked out. So the same concept for everything else.
Yes, that's basically what I'm saying, and it's and what I'm hearing, is the theme, overlaying theme, or for waiting is, to do, number one, first and foremost, confidence in what you're waiting for. You got to know, first of all, that what you are waiting for, you're going to get it. You are going to get what you're waiting for. You're going to get some form of an answer pertaining to what you are waiting for. That's what I'm hearing, first of all. And then second of all, there's always something that can be done while you're waiting. Because we're talking about how do we wait, because one thing that I've learned from my past is just sitting around is actually sitting around, how would I put this? Help me, ladies. Sitting around, not doing it amiss. I'm trying to come up with a word where you're not just sitting around, just twiddling your fingers. You're sitting, if you are sitting, you're sitting with the intention of getting in tune with what it is that you want. Correct, ladies? Yes. Is that okay to say?
Yes.
And then you are working, because one of the things that I found out, especially, as believers, whether you're a believer or not, because guess what? The Bible talks about God, the rain falling on the just and the unjust, right? It's basically saying it's for everyone. This thing we're talking about is for everyone, right? And so it's like, while you are waiting, even if it's in silence, the waiting in silence is still moving you a step forward, because I've learned that nothing is done by accident. That's one of the mantras that I have in life, especially, when it comes to my relationship with God. Nothing happens by accident. And so another way of saying that is how, every move that you are led to do, it, at the end of the day, it all works towards what it is that you're waiting for. So we're talking about how. I want to talk about the lessons. What are some of the lessons or other lessons, because we've been hearing some of them. What are some of the other lessons that you've learned while waiting that you can advise me? Let me just say me, because I'm waiting, y'all.
all of us.
And I'm going to admit, I tend to get a little weary every now and then. So one of the great things of talking with each other is how we get to get strengthened. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned, ladies, that can help strengthen me and anyone else who tends to feel a little weary every now and then?
One of the things I would mention, or two, is sometimes how you think things are going to happen, that's not how it happens for you. It's the same in results, what you're looking for, but how you're looking for it to happen, it comes a completely different way. You just have to not throw things aside to say, okay, this can't happen for me, or that can't. You have to be open in the waiting, right? The other thing is the time in which it is happening, or the time in which you're waiting, right? That you ensure that the movements that you make, let's say Michelle talked about making small moves, whether to the left or to the right in the meantime, to catapult you to where you really need to go. But let's say you make a move and something doesn't play out how you had planned it, right? Or how you expected, right? That sometimes can deter you. And what I'm saying is, don't be deterred, because that mistake, we have to realize in life we make mistakes, and our mistakes makes us stronger. You talk about what strengthens each of us. These are the things that strengthen us, because we learn from our mistakes. And we learn, okay, how I approached my waiting in this time regarding this matter did not give me the outcome that I expected. So, okay, the next time that I'm going to approach something, I'm going to go this way instead.
I like that.
It's just to know that you're taking not just the negative of the situation, what was the positive that came out of that waiting process that I can now add on to where I'm going to use it in my next waiting season.
I like that, Marcia. I like that. And I wanted to stress something that you said, because again, I would love for everyone to make the decision to make Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior, right? But I know that everyone has their own mind. And I say that because whether or not, right? The fact of the matter is, when you're doing something, Marcia talked about mistakes. Even our mistakes can work out for our good.
Yes.
But I like what she said, because sometimes even if like there are some believers who are still that are in the stage of, getting to know what God's voice sounds like and stuff like that. So, we tend to make moves however way we are led or feel is right. But then guess what if it doesn't work out? Wisdom says, don't do that again. Wisdom would say, okay, then let's try something else.
Yeah.
Like what Marcia, let's try, that what you tried, it didn't work. But what I'm sure that there is something that you can get from that, like she said, to apply to something else that you can try towards waiting. So it's about how. Anyone else with another lesson?
Okay. I'll make it quick. One of the lessons that I've learned in waiting is that sometimes my intentions at the beginning for what I want my end result to be are not what it should be. I just scrambled that all up.
Yeah.
My lesson is that when I really have time to sit down with myself, I notice that the intentions on my heart are not good, and I have to reevaluate my inner, have a good conversation with me and say, why is it that you want that? And then decide, okay, straighten your path and do this, or abandon that and really set yourself up for what is it that you want, instead of spending all this time on one thing when in turn that's not. Like, for example, why am I want to work 2 or 3 jobs so that I could dance around with a Gucci bag? Like, really? Like, no, those are the intentions in my heart. If I'm going to have 2 or 3 jobs, it's because I could provide a better life for my family, so I could have a better retirement plan, those kind of things. So that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of things that you're doing in the waiting period. While I'm waiting to make money, to become rich and be at a whatever level, what am I going to do in the meantime with what I'm being entrusted with? So very important for me, and lessons that I've learned is look at the intentions of my heart.
Can I say what she just said? Oh my God, that is so powerful, because that's exactly what I had. The waiting process is really for my own benefit. She's so right, because what it did was every time something didn't work out, it was like, were you doing it for the right reasons? Why is that always the question that comes back to my mind? And then I swear it's happened are you doing it for the right? What is the end result? This end result, who is it supposed to benefit? Yeah. Just your ego or your emotions. And it's like, what am I truly doing it for? And like Michelle, if you're doing it for the right reasons, then you will just be doing it. It's not just now about this end result. You will just be doing it because it's truly from your heart and you have the right intentions. I love that so much, because it's the same lessons I'm being taught. So I do. But what I would say for people who are in the waiting season is to have an open mind. Have an open mind to things happening even greater than you planned it to. That's the beauty of God. Like, it can be greater than you think it's like this greatest plan, but in the grand scheme of things, it can be so minuscule. So now I've let go and say, I'm open to things happening even greater than I could have planned it. So that's what I would say. Just have that open mind and let it flow into what it's really supposed to be, not just what you want it to be. I love that, Michelle. That was a great reminder.
Yeah, that was powerful.
I love that. Yeah.
That was powerful, because guess what? That means, because when she said, I was like, oh my gosh, that means a lot of things that we're waiting for, or a lot of people, and what they're waiting for could not be what's theirs or what's coming for them. And that's why it's even more important to have an open mind, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, you wanted, I'm going to say Gucci bag. You wanted a Gucci bag, and so you're not going to get a Gucci bag. Having an open mind while you wait could mean that maybe what God wants to give to you is not a Gucci bag. Maybe is there anything better than a Gucci bag, y'all? Maybe. Maybe you want one Gucci bag where God is like, oh no, honey, what I want for you is much better than that. And I've learned that your mindset in the waiting affects what you are, when you get what you want, and what it is that you get, Michelle mentioned stagnant. That's something that I've learned as well, because more than what you are waiting for, I think what's more important is your character development. There was something, it was right before coming on and preparing for today, and I was in a little funk, right? And it was remembering about all the things I'm waiting for, what I'm, what the mind tends to do is like travel, and you start thinking of all kinds of things, like a Pandora box. Next thing you know, I'm like, but one of the things that I was reading something, and what it said was how our mindset is very, very important. If you go into something like like Michelle mentioned the example of a career change, you want a promotion, you want a better job, like if you are saying that this thing is going to be tough, guess what? It's going to be tough. You know, instead, if you have the mindset that I'm determined to get there, I'm determined to get this, it's different. How you move is totally different. You know how they say where the mind goes, the body will follow. You know, or in other words, as the Bible teaches us, as the word teaches us, as a man thinketh, so is he. You know, our mindset in anything actually is very important, because it helps give you the lens that you're going to look at things, which will affect how you act, how you feel, and all that. So your mindset, that's one thing that I think is very important, your mindset. Because like we opened up with saying, you're going to have to wait anyway. This is something you might as well do it with peace, with comfort, with confidence that'll help you carry you along the journey until you get what it is that you are, you require.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies, I want you to, focus your attention, right? And I want you to speak into the lives of those women who are waiting, or maybe you yourself needs to encourage you. We learn about David in the Bible, how he encouraged himself. I don't know, but again, like I said, I need encouragement, and I know that there are others out there who need it as well. So ladies, we are about to round up. It's like the time just went like that. And I know this portion alone, so I'm like, let me come to this. Ladies, speak to me and speak to anyone else out there who you feel who may be anxious and going through something and is about to quit or about to manipulate, on the brink of manipulating their situation. Can you please speak to us?
I want to say to everyone, including myself, as a reminder to myself, to celebrate the small things. Be grateful for the small things. We're looking for the big picture, the big goal that we have set, but celebrate the small things, because the small things are what catapult you to the greater thing that you're waiting on. But it's how you handle the small things which will determine how you handle the big thing that you end up getting, right? So you want to ensure that you're being grateful and you're celebrating it, you're enjoying it, and not just throwing it aside as if it's nothing, because this is what builds up to the greater thing that you're waiting on. So that would be I call it $1 million. I no longer give 1 cent, right? That will be that. Just be grateful for those small things and celebrate them. Be happy about them, and actually let the happiness come on the outside. Speaking from an individual that celebrates internally, I'm now saying celebrate externally. Put on your dancing shoe and dance, right? Laugh, enjoy life, because life is so short.
Yes.
You're sitting down planning and waiting. You don't know what tomorrow brings. So if this is part of the greater plan that you're receiving today, this small part, celebrate it today. Yeah. Enjoy it. Live life to the fullest. That's what I would say.
Nice. Thank you.
What would I say? What would I say to myself and you and everyone out there? What I would say is, imagine that whatever you're waiting on took 2 years, took 4 years, took 5 years, right? Are you just going to be miserable for the next 5 years? Just think of that. am I gonna just be miserable for those 5 years just waiting for the, and it's like, no, I am a person, I like to, you're always gonna see my teeth because I like to laugh. I like to be happy. And you know what? I know that all women are in the pursuit of happiness. You have to, like Marcia said, find the joys in today. Yeah. Find the joys in the process. I think I wrote that down. Find joy in that in-between space. I think Michelle mentioned the spaces, the in-between. The in-between is life. Yeah. Live your life while you're waiting. It's live your life and just be find contentment and gratitude in your day-to-day life while you're on this process. Yeah. And you know what sometimes we have to realize too, and I'm going to close it out, Nora. Think of yourself being exactly where you're supposed to be in this exact moment. Sometimes you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that's okay. Find contentment in that and just keep going one day at a time, and you'll get there. We all will get there. There is always an end goal. Just find peace in that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would add, I mean, I think what you girls have said is great. I would add, extend grace and mercy towards yourself. You know, give yourself permission sometimes to have those up and down days, you know, to feel sad one moment and to feel happy the next. It's human emotion. You know, you have it, extend yourself grace. Maybe that's your indicator just to, you know, retreat, take some time to rethink. And in the good days, take advantage, enjoy the sunshine. And also understand that, yeah, good quality stuff take time. You know, just like wine, for example, the longer you keep wine in its barrel, you know, the quality of it is much more, and the price, it's more expensive because it took so much time to invest it in that. So, you know, that goes for ourselves too. When something is taking whatever time it is, it's worth it because it's for you, and enjoy the process and be real with yourself. When it's hard, admit that it's hard. Get yourself, well, in my season of waiting, I've gotten myself a tribe of women to surround me, not to have pity parties, but that I can come to. And in my sad moments, they'll cheer me up. And in my good moments, they will celebrate together with me. And also, I won't be so hyper focused on what's going on with me. When I have these women surrounding me, I could pour back into them. So it's a back and forth thing in the waiting.
Mm-hmm. And Nora, I'm sorry, before
go.
Real quick. So for the ones who are in the waiting, but they're in horrible situations, life and death situations. I know we didn't touch on that topic, but it just came to me. So I just want to speak to it. It's hard to say focus on the good times, which is what I was talking about, and on the great things, because sometimes there's nothing that seems great to you in this waiting for freedom, right? So I'm going to ask and pray that in that waiting that you're in, which is so detrimental, a dire situation that you're in, so bondage feeling, that kind of environment I'm talking about. If it means listening to certain music, if you get the opportunity to, if it means humming to yourself, if that's all you have access to, if it means writing your thoughts, find something that will bring you peace, that brings you peace. It might just be clinging to a piece of garment that reminds you of something good in your life back then. I'm just saying to you, find something that brings you that peace for that moment when you are left alone, for that moment where you're not being abused or used or whatever it is. I know it's a difficult situation, and I know we can speak all that we want to speak because we're not where you are, but I'm asking you and I'm praying that you will find that little thing that will give you that ounce of peace through the turmoil and torture that you're presently going through. Yeah. I do ask for that. I do pray for that for you.
Yes. I'm glad that you did bring that up, Marcia, because, you know, for everyone's situation is different. Yeah. But, you know, there are situations like you mentioned that are truly, really, really and truly life literally life and death situations. So it's like, how do you wait for the deliverance? What do you do before, the situation changes for the better? And I'm glad that you made it very practical, to find whatever it is that will give you peace, that will give you that peace to just, glide. I'm right now, the picture that I'm thinking of is like a ship or a boat that's in on water, and it's troubled water. There's a storm, and then what the captain tends to do is to take the oars and put everything in, and then just ride it, just go with it, just
Mhm.
find something that'll bring you that peace, that'll allow you to just, while you're in these waters, very, very important. And that's, I mean, everything that was said here today, my hope is that, because again, everyone has to wait. Everyone has to wait, no matter who you are. Even if it comes tomorrow, even if you ask for it today and it comes tomorrow, you still have to wait. And depending on who you are, just that 24 hours could cause you to freak out or to patiently wait. Whether it's one day, 5 years, 20 years, we don't know. So the most important part is to, find that peace, whatever will give you peace, to cling on to it until the situation changes. Ladies, I thank you so much, because again, you have encouraged me. It's like you ladies took over the show today. um I was supporting you. I actually needed you all this evening. Again, this was something that's been on my mind, and I'm bringing as a conversation, because I know that it's not just me. So I'm encouraging. See, I'm, in my issues or whatever, I'm taking this time to encourage, everyone, right along with every one of these ladies, to, first of all, let's get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind thinking victory. Get your mind thinking positivity. Get your mind thinking peace, so that everything else will line up with that, and make your journey, make the process, a peaceful one and an easier going one. And find something to do. I hope I'm rounding it up correctly, right, ladies? And find something to do. Even if it's to sit down quietly and really evaluate your life. Guess what? You're still doing something. You're still doing something positive towards the end result. And just look at it as preparation. If you want, an example of a mindset to put on the mindset of preparation, that whatever it is. If it meant, Michelle mentioned the example of someone wanting to go to school but can't, because of financial reason. Yeah, truly, you've hit a wall, but there has to be something that can get you through past that wall, which is to take up maybe a free course, like Michelle mentioned. There's always something that you can do that will both bring you peace and help prepare you for the end result. And on that note, remnants out there, continue to support each other. Please continue to support Remnants of Red by liking, sharing, following all that social media goodness, in order to help get the message across. Because we, Josiane, Michelle, and Marcia, we come on here, and everyone who comes on here is not necessarily, as much as I love them and I love seeing all of their faces, that's not why we come on here. We come on here to encourage people to actually see in our own little ways, if we can help say something, if we can help everyone by saying something, speaking our truth, our experience, to help transform your life. So again, please support by liking, sharing the YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss a conversation. And on that note, please, everyone, continue to open your mouth. There are people out there that depends on it. Thank you, and see you next Sunday.
See you soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Bye.